Hidden around Ginger Island are 130 golden walnuts obtained by exploring, solving puzzles, and doing quests. Collecting over 100 walnuts will grant you access to the secret walnut room, filled with unique endgame quests and rewards. But how soon can you get that door open on a fresh save file? It's not easy to get in there in your first year, but I can do it in less than a month. Not only that, I've previously completed a 3-week speedrun to reach Ginger Island, a prerequisite to collecting the island's walnuts, but I won't use that existing save file. I'm going to redo it and completely crush that 21-day time, and I'll do it without using glitches such as animation cancelling to use tools faster, and I also won't use Legacy RNG, which means no speedrun strategies like clay farming in the early game for easy money. I will be using a game seed to lock in some of the random elements, much like my previous speedrun to reach Ginger Island, so if you play on PC, feel free to give it a go alongside me. The first big change in my strategy is I'm choosing the Riverlands farm. Ordinarily the worst farm by far due to the small amount of usable space, but you start out with a free fish smoker in your house. By adding multiplayer cabins to the map in the game options, despite playing the run entirely single player, I can add additional fish smokers to the farm. Ordinarily you can't access another player's starting gift bundle, but the fish smoker simply shows up as furniture you can take. Fish smokers are fantastic at increasing income from fishing, but ordinarily require both rare materials and an expensive purchase to earn the ability to make them. Getting several for free is huge. This isn't nearly as good as it sounds, since I considered and rejected this idea in the past. There are two main barriers to reaching Ginger Island quickly: piles of money that pay Joja, and specific materials to repair Willie's boat. Previously, I've relied on the forest farm, which has plentiful access to hardwood. It's very difficult to quickly get 200 hardwood for the boat on a new save file, and the Riverlands only has about 30 hardwood on the farm before you exhaust the supply. However, there is a partial solution. A random selection of NPCs will open up trading stalls during the Desert Festival, and if you happen to get Leah, she'll trade you up to 100 hardwood. Problem is, there are 27 possible stalls, so it's not likely that Leah will show up at all. Thankfully, the characters who open up shop are predetermined by your game seed, so I won't need to restart the entire run because she didn't show up. But that's not my only goal when choosing a game seed. I'm sick and tired of my challenge runs relying on massive quantities of edible forage to get me through day 1, and I don't want to keep restarting until I get crazy amounts of spring onions, which seemingly appear in random numbers ignoring your game seed. So how can I guarantee that I'll have enough food to get me through day 1 and enable me to chop down my goal of 400 wood? The answer? We're eating trash. It's quite rare, but you'll occasionally unearth a good item by rummaging through the neighbor's trash. The local grandma may have thrown away some delicious cookies, and the saloon has a slim chance of any meal of the day showing up outside in the trash can. While the chance to find both cookies and a free meal at the same time is very slim, it is predetermined by game seed. So I just needed to find the perfect seed with Leah at the Desert Festival, food in the trash cans, and nearly constant rainy weather from the 6th to the 14th prior to the Desert Festival so I can make money as quickly as possible. Even if I searched through 1,000,000 seeds, I wouldn't find anything nearly that good. So I searched through 100,000,000 seeds. To find that perfect seed, I downloaded Visual Studio and cloned this GitHub library by _76, which provides scripts to crack the RNG and check seeds one at a time for desired parameters. With just enough programming experience under my belt to prevent my brain from oozing out the sides of my head as I scrolled through the code to understand these scripts, I wrote my first ever lines of C# code, creating a loop to check seeds one at a time and spit out anything particularly promising. And since my tests with 1,000,000 and 10,000,000 seeds weren't good enough, I let my computer run the code 100,000,000 times, finally locking in a seed with near constant rain when I want it, plentiful food in the trash, and Leah at the festival. Sometimes I wonder if I'm going a bit far in how I optimize a casual farming game. Let's get back to the run and show how incredible this seed is for day 1. The beach is full of treasures. There's a ton of clams scattered around I can sell, as well as a guaranteed artifact buried in the sand which can be turned in to complete the archaeology quest at the museum, which rewards 250 gold at a point of the game where it's very difficult to meaningfully earn money. There's also a sea urchin over by the tide pools, a critical material for crafting a bait maker, an essential item for fishing I need before day 6. I also swung by Clint's shop to buy a single piece of copper ore, so he'll show up to my house tomorrow morning and teach me how to craft a furnace. Once I've retrieved my food from the trash cans and picked the map clean of forage, it's time to start chopping wood. You can get slightly more wood per swing of the axe by knocking down trees without clearing away the stumps, and I don't care about making room for new trees to grow in since this challenge is too short for that to matter. I chop enough wood to craft a couple chests to store items while reserving 300 wood to take down to the beach to get the bridge repaired. I don't exactly need that sea urchin on day 1 specifically, but getting that bridge up on day 1 is super convenient so I can dedicate all my time for the next 2 weeks to fishing and mining, things I can't do on the first day. By selling all of my foraged items and starting seeds, I've made over 1,000 gold on the first day, not counting the extra 250 gold from the museum quest, which puts me far ahead of any day 1 I've ever had in the past. Day 2. I can now go fishing, which will be my primary method for making money. I already have plenty of cash on hand to purchase upgrades like a better fishing rod and some bait, so I just need to hit level 2 fishing as soon as possible so Willie's shop will update the selection of items for sale and show me the good stuff. Thankfully, I scouted out some temporary bubbles in the water over by the tide pools, which makes fish bite 4 times faster. It's a good thing I got that bridge repaired on day 1 and I could access these. Fishing bubbles shot me up to level 2 fishing in time to sell my catch to Willie and purchase a better rod and a huge pile of bait before he closed up shop for the day. Bait makes fish bite twice as fast, and I have more than enough to last me until day 6 when I plan to permanently swap to the bait maker. From now on, I only want to fish during rainy days when valuable catfish come out to play, but the first 5 days of any new farm have predetermined weather that can't be changed. Day 3, the only rainy day until day 6. Unlike other farms which have high rates of fishing up trash, it's actually viable to fish at home if you choose the Riverlands farm. You can hook river fish and even get bubble spawns. The main money-making method for the first 2 weeks involves fishing up catfish for the fish smoker. At fishing level 10, a gold quality smoked catfish clocks in at a sweet 900 gold. My current fishing level is still low, making them difficult to catch, and I don't have a bait maker yet, so I can't go crazy with it until later. I did manage to land 10 catfish today despite the expected early game difficulties. I'll toss the quality ones into the fish smoker once I obtain some coal, and reserve the less valuable, low quality ones for the bait maker. Day 4. I've got a lot of shopping planned for today. I'd like to get a head start on making metal bars before I can even go to the mines. I want to put in for my first tool upgrade early, since I'll need a steel axe and copper pickaxe made on a fairly tight timeline. I also want 3 iron bars to get the bait maker crafted. I don't have money on hand for everything I'd like to purchase yet, but I pick up enough copper ore for a furnace and 5 copper bars, as well as some extra coal so I can finally start using the fish smokers. Normally, fishing the town river isn't very good when it isn't raining, but I want close proximity to the shops while I'm busy producing metal bars and smoked fish. Smoked fish are categorized as an artisan good and can be sold directly to Pierre, earning me another big pile of gold which I immediately spend on an upgrade to my backpack, an upgrade for my axe, as well as some more iron ore and coal. With the day's shopping done, I pack up to go fish somewhere better while producing iron bars. They take a while to melt down, but by the end of the day, I have my bait maker, which will let me target which fish I want to catch. Just a few days into a new save file and I'm already set up to make enormous piles of money by smoking catfish all day whenever it's raining. Day 5 unlocks the mines, and since it can't rain on the 5th, today is dedicated to mining. I also need the dip into town to trigger the cutscene introducing the community center since it doesn't play on rainy days and you can't purchase a Joja membership until you've done this. Back in the mines, I was able to dig down the floor 25 today, snacking on a few reserved fish to keep my energy levels up. Day 6. I need to earn 140,000 gold just to pay off Joja as part of the process to unlock Ginger Island, among other purchases I also need to make, so it's time to earn a lot of gold really fast. I set up shop at the riverbank, and thanks to the bait maker, I almost always hook catfish when I cast out my rod, so I can catch and smoke dozens of catfish a day now. At my current fishing level, they're selling for 750 gold, so I'm making 600 in profit per fish, accounting for the price of coal to run the smokers. Once I ran out of coal, I took what I had to Pierre to earn some money for shopping. Over at Clint's, I put in my pickaxe for an upgrade since I'll be busy fishing the next couple of days anyway, grabbed some iron ore to prep for my next tool upgrade while I'm unable to mine, and restocked on a healthy pile of coal to keep the fish smokers running. In total, I got 36 catfish smoked, including the ones I sold to Pierre, earning about 28,000 gold in sales today. Pretty good already, but I can get those numbers way higher. Let's take things a step further. Day 7. Now that I've got some spare money on hand, let's reinvest it into a stronger fishing setup. The iridium rod can equip tackle alongside bait, and dress spinners make fish bite more frequently. They're a bit expensive and degrade quickly, but they do pay themselves off when fishing and smoking catfish. I also have to top up on coal again, a never-ending process really. By the end of the day, I managed to fish up a sweet 37,000 gold. And I'm still not at peak efficiency since there's a boost to the sale value of fish once I hit level 10 fishing. Day 8. Lots of things to buy today. I dropped 10k on the backpack upgrade, which will be a huge help for the Skull Cavern and beyond. I also picked up the Joja membership for 5k, so I can start purchasing upgrades for the town. I'll need to buy all of them as a prerequisite for unlocking Ginger Island. Over at Clint's, it's time to put in for a steel axe upgrade, which I'll need for collecting hardwood, and the rest of my money can, as always, be spent on coal. I was able to fish up and smoke 4 dozen catfish today thanks to my dress spinners, but I'm at the point where I'm close enough to level 10 fishing that it's a good idea to reserve my fish to sell later. Day 9. This is the only day in the first 2 weeks of random weather that didn't get rain, so I'm obligated to make some progress in the mines today as opposed to catching more catfish. The main reason I need to work on my mining is that I want to reach mines level 90 prior to the Desert Festival to obtain a weapon strong enough for the Skull Cavern. You see, reaching Ginger Island super early is a huge pain because I need 5 battery packs to repair the boat to get there, and battery packs are normally only obtainable after reaching your first summer when thunderstorms start occurring naturally. My workaround to this is killing iridium bats in the Skull Caverns, which have a slim chance to drop battery packs. But it's not easy since they're super tough and only even show up deep in the caverns. I'll need to slay on average 100 bats to get the batteries I need. Part of my prep to get that done involves grinding out level 6 mining and a ton of iron ore so I can craft plentiful bombs with which to effectively delve the Skull Caverns, which reset your progress to the first floor every day. Since today is a really unlucky day for finding staircases in the mines, after I made 20 floors of progress, I spent the rest of the day repeatedly resetting floor 41 to check for iron nodes and farm mining EXP and ore. Day 10. Let's hit level 10 fishing today. First order of business is catching the Legend, a one-time fish I can smoke for a whopping 22,000 gold. You normally need level 10 fishing to hook it in the first place, but Willy sells soup that temporarily boosts your fishing level. After catching the Legend, I still had time today to smoke up 40 more catfish, and I can sell everything I've gathered tomorrow once I've earned the bonus from level 10 fishing. I could have sold a few of the fish early to get a head start on purchasing town upgrades at Joja, but I can only sell smoked fish on the same day to Pierre, who closes up shop on Wednesdays, so no dice. Day 11. After selling 2 days worth of fish, I'm holding 6 digits of gold. Pretty good for day 11. It's time to start buying upgrades from Joja. I'm limited to 1 per day, which is super annoying. I'll need to spread out my purchases over 5 days. I won't be able to repair the boat to access Ginger Island until 2 days after purchasing the final Joja upgrade, so it's a fairly large barrier. However, after today's round of fishing, I'll be completely done fishing up catfish for money, and I can focus entirely on getting the materials together for the boat repair while making daily pit stops at Jojamart to buy upgrades. Day 12. Now that I'm free from fishing, it's time to start a new daily routine while preparing for the start of the Desert Festival on the 15th. While I can obtain half of the hardwood I need from trading at the Desert Festival, I'll have to gather the rest by hand. Thanks to the steel axe, I've unlocked the ability to run down to the secret woods where I can get 12 hardwood a day from the respawning large stumps. After a trip to the woods, I swing by Jojamart to grab another upgrade off the list, and then I'm free to spend the rest of the day making progress in the mines, reaching floor 65. Day 13. Today's the Egg Festival in town, so Jojamart's closed down for the day, which is super annoying for getting my upgrades purchased since Joja days are overlapping Desert Festival days and will be cutting into the time I can spend in the Skull Cavern. I managed to make a ton of progress in the mines today, delving down to floor 90 and earning myself a nice sword. I also hit level 5 mining, granting more ore per node mined, which is huge for increasing the iron yield on my last prep day before the festival. Day 14. Final day to prep for the Skull Caverns. I will not go down to floor 120 to pick up the Skull Key, since you can access the caverns during the festival with or without the key, and picking up the key permanently increases the health of all monsters by a considerable margin. I spent most of my time today resetting floor 61 to mine iron, digging up about 250 ore over the course of the day. I've also got some shopping to get done. I got my daily upgrade from Jojamart, and I also swung by the Adventurers Guild. If you reach level 90 in the mines, you can pick up the Steel Falchion, which has similar damage output to the Obsidian Edge I picked up for free, but it swings much faster, which is going to help out in the Skull Caverns. I also need plentiful food to restore my health while cavern diving, and the cheapest, most efficient food you can purchase is salad from Gus. The last bit of equipment I got my hands on today is a glowstone ring I crafted myself. It helps vacuum in nearby dropped items, which is going to make it much more efficient to collect the widespread ore and rocks off the ground when mining with bombs. Day 15. Desert Festival starts today, but I don't have any desert totems on hand to directly teleport there, so while waiting for the bus, I do my usual trip to the secret woods and head to Jojamart to get the second to last upgrade. I've been saving gemstones from fishing and mining since the very beginning so I can trade in for some good food and drink from the desert merchant. Spicy eels and triple shot espressos I can consume together to massively increase my walk speed, which is incredibly important for efficiently mining in the Skull Cavern. Plus, you can stack those buffs alongside the free daily meal from the desert chef, skyrocketing both my speed and my luck. I don't start my cavern run until about 10 AM, which is a huge penalty since every minute matters in the caverns, and the amount of iridium you get scales up dramatically the deeper you dive. The early floors are nearly worthless. Regardless, I'll dig as deep as I can. The goal is to earn at least one of my 5 required battery packs, and I want as much iridium ore as I can find. I'll need 5 iridium bars to repair the boat, and extra iridium can be traded in for bombs or turned into bars, which sell for really good money. The Skull Cavern attempt wasn't anything special, and I was just on the verge of starting over and trying again when a precious battery pack finally dropped from a bat at 1 AM. I got over 100 iridium and a battery pack today despite the late start. Subsequent cavern runs should be better since I can swap to mega bombs over regular bombs now that my mining level has shot up from blowing up high EXP iridium nodes. Also, just participating in the festival grants tokens I can trade in for mega bombs. Day 16. Now that I've already been to the desert, I was able to trade for a desert totem to get an early start on the caverns. I've got higher expectations for today. I'd like to get 2 battery packs this time. It's not going to be easy since I'm still going to need to cut my run short to go to Jojamart for that final upgrade before they close at 11 PM. Plus, I also need to hit up Leah's trading stall to exchange for Hardwood before she closes up shop. After a couple attempts at day 16, I got a pretty good one. A bat dropped a battery pack just before 5 PM, giving me several hours left to find another one. Then, just before 7, something really crazy happened. A random crate spat out a battery pack. I didn't even know they could do that. Turns out, it's about a 0.176% chance. I left the caverns at 10 PM, having mined about 130 more iridium ore. I sprinted over the Jojamart before closing, finishing the last upgrade needed to unlock the ability to repair the boat. Now I just need to finish gathering materials by the 18th, when I'll be invited to Willie's shop to check out the busted up boat. And speaking of materials, thanks to Leah, I now have almost all of the hardwood I'll need for the boat repair, so it's just down to getting 2 more battery packs tomorrow. Now, I am a bit short on bombs, and I'm not exactly drowning in materials to craft more, so I made the decision to trade in some of my spare iridium ore to keep my stock healthy for one more big Skull Cavern run. The rest of my iridium for the rest of the run will be turned into bars, 5 for the boat repair, and the rest to sell for pure cash. Day 17. Now that I'm finally done paying Joja, I can do my first and only uninterrupted Skull Cavern run, which gives me the whole day to get those last 2 battery packs. While I'm not allowed to repair the boat until tomorrow when I get a letter from Willie, this really is my last chance to get batteries since I don't even have the Skull Key and can't access the Skull Caverns outside the festival, which ends today. I killed an absurd number of bats today since one of the calico statues exclusive to the festival blessed me with more bats early into my run. I found my first battery pack by noon, but despite killing dozens more bats, I just wasn't getting another one. What I was getting was a huge pile of iridium ore, clocking at about 300 ore for the day, despite spending so much time swinging my sword at endless bats. That's what a full, uninterrupted day in the caverns can do for you. By 1 AM, I was just about ready to give up. That last battery pack isn't optional and I hadn't found it, but finally I got lucky at the last possible moment, giving me just enough time to heroically exit the caverns with 5 battery packs in my pocket and get my last minute exchanges in before the festival shuts down. I managed to make it home before passing out on the floor inches away from my bed. Day 18. I finally received a letter from Willie to go repair his boat. He doesn't open up shop until 9 AM, so I'll work on some miscellaneous chores. Now that the desert festival is cleared out, I can exchange a prismatic shard for the galaxy sword. I also need about 11 more hardwood, so I swing by the secret woods one final time. With that, I now have all the materials needed to get the boat repaired just in time. However, I can't take the boat out to Ginger Island today since the repair takes place overnight, leaving me without much to accomplish. I stopped by Clint's since I actually still need coal for the rest of the run. Truly a never-ending task. I also top up on food for Ginger Island, and then I'm left with basically nothing left to do for the rest of the day. Earning money is still useful at this point, but it's not raining and I can't go back into the caverns for iridium without the skull key, so I ended up wandering to the regular mines with a random curiosity lure I had lying around to get myself some lava eel bait, which is a special tool that will help me later. Day 19. I can finally go to Ginger Island, 2 days earlier than my previous rush to Ginger Island, a video that got a surprising amount of traction. Time to make the most of it and collect the walnuts in just a few days. There are 130 golden walnuts, only some of which can be obtained quickly. I don't have time for complicated, lengthy quests, and my stated goal of the video is to get into the secret walnut room as soon as possible, not earn every walnut the fair way. I'll be using the Joja parrot to purchase whatever walnuts I can't get my hands on myself. The parrot charges 10,000 gold per missing walnut, and you have to buy all of them, even if you need less. Obviously, I don't have 1 million gold for the parrot, so I'll gather as many easy walnuts as I can and purchase the remainder. Let's get to it. I'll be using speed boosting food and drink to gather walnuts quickly. The island jungle has 11 walnuts, but 3 of them are locked behind obtaining a banana. Even if I had a banana sapling to plant, it takes 28 days to grow, which I am not doing. Hidden on the east side of the jungle is a puzzle. You're meant to observe the local birds on rainy days to get hints to solve this, or you could just brute force the solution and write it down since there are only 120 possibilities. I will need to spend golden walnuts periodically to unlock more of the island, but they still count as collected for the purpose of unlocking the secret walnut room. After getting 8 walnuts from the jungle, I make an awkward pit stop at Willie's shop for some fishing tackle I need since he drove me to Ginger Island before opening up shop, and there's magically 0 travel time from here to the mainland and back. Next up, Island North. There are 13 walnuts I can get by digging up specific spots and checking various secret passages. This area also contains the dig site, which isn't unlocked yet, and the volcano, which is. The dig site will yield 7 easy walnuts and 10 much harder ones I'm not doing, as gathering fossils is super luck dependent and really slow. The next big source of walnuts comes from the volcano mine. You can get 5 walnuts from breaking rocks, which is really easy, 5 from killing monsters, which is very doable but not nearly as fast, 5 more from breaking crates, which is much slower since the chance isn't high and there aren't many crates. There's also a couple more from opening treasure chests, which is really easy, and a couple more from reaching the summit of the volcano. That's 19 possible walnuts, but I'll skip a couple. I spent a lot of time on this volcano run getting most of the walnuts available from monster kills since I purchased a magic rock candy on the last day of the desert festival, which considerably boosts my damage output, so I may as well take advantage. By the time I've reached the end, I've got all the mining walnuts, 4 out of 5 monster kill walnuts, both treasure chests, and 2 of the 5 crate walnuts. I won't go back for the ones I missed since it's just not very time efficient at that point once I show off how insane the new money making method is. With each walnut being worth 10k gold at the parrot, the time it takes to earn a walnut competes with how fast you can earn money in its place. With a few hours left in the day, I purchase entry to the west end of the island and spend 20 more walnuts building the island farmhouse so I can sleep here, because I am not heading back home. There's over 50 walnuts up for grabs in this area, but I actually can't get most of them quickly as many are locked behind quests, farming, and pure RNG, but I should be able to get at least 22. I skirt around the top of the map getting as many walnuts as possible before 2 AM, including the really annoying Simon Says minigame which had me pausing my recording to go watch my own footage for the solution. By the end of the day I managed to get 48 walnuts on my first Ginger Island day, which is a great start, and I left plenty of the easy ones for tomorrow. I also made a bunch of money, having sold 36 iridium bars today, exhausting my supply of ore. Day 20. The goal is to get the rest of the easy walnuts, then start grinding money for the parrot. There are a ton of easy walnuts left to grab all over the beach, but one of them is inaccessible since I don't have a steel pickaxe or better to break the big rock with. The mussels on the beach can eventually drop up to 5 walnuts if you keep coming back every day. I'm just happy I got one of them from the last node. I'll wait to get the rest of the easy walnuts until the evening since 4 of them are only available at night. I said I wouldn't go back, but I actually have a very compelling reason to briefly dip into the volcano for a couple more cinder shards. Back on day 19, I tried enchanting my fishing rod, angling for a specific enchantment which I didn't get, but enchantments are seeded and I'm guaranteed to get what I want if I try just one more time. Unsurprisingly, my money-making method once again involves smoked fish. The preserving enchantment on the rod will help with that, chewing for your bait and tackle at half speed, making it last longer. I'll be fishing lava eel, which are incredibly valuable and extremely plentiful up here on the caldera, and with preserving, I'll need to toss very few of them into the bait maker, leaving more for me to smoke and sell. Problem is, lava eel are super annoying to catch. That trip I made to Willie's shop on the 19th was to pick up trap bobbers to use as tackle, which makes fish way easier to keep on the line, and it's still a huge hassle. A few did end up getting away, but I probably caught over 90% of them in the long term. And as a fun little bonus, I needed to fish anyway for walnuts since you can get up to 5 walnuts randomly while fishing. Let's do the math on how much money these eels make. They have a ridiculous base value of 700 gold. Kick that up to 1050 at gold star quality, add 50% for the level 10 fishing profession bonus, and double the whole thing in the fish smoker. That's 3,000 gold in profit accounting for the price of coal, 4 times better than catfish profits. Plus, lava eel are the only fish up here, so it's almost impossible to hook something else when using lava eel bait. You can get trash, but it's super rare. After fishing for most of the day, I pick up my 33 smoked eels, which will sell for over 100k, and head down to unlock the dig site to grab the easy walnuts. One's buried in the dirt up top, 3 more walnuts can be found on the cliffs, and I can get another 3 walnuts from the dig site field office by answering a couple survey questions and turning in a fossil from the volcano. I'm not bothering with the other fossils since you need to complete an entire set to earn rewards and it's unrealistic to find them on a short timeline. I still got time left in the day, so it's time to head to the southern part of the island for 6 more walnuts. 2 are outside, and 3 are earned by playing darts with pirates, which thankfully pauses the day timer since it takes a while, and 1 more is buried by some crates in the pirate cove. Between fishing and exploring, I've earned myself 28 walnuts today, getting me up to 75 in total. I can't really get any more walnuts at this point faster than I can simply earn the money I'll need to buy the rest. Day 21. No more fun running around grabbing walnuts, it's time to grind out my eel empire. This makes incredibly good money, but it's really not fun since eels are kind of stressful to keep on the line. After a full day on my Sigma eel grind set, I managed to smoke up 61 eels, which I can sell for over 192,000 gold. That's almost 200k in one day. This isn't even peak efficiency. Imagine having level 10 farming to boost the value of artisan goods like smoked fish by another 40%. You can also use a quality bobber to reel in iridium quality eels, but I personally need to use a trap bobber to consistently land eels without them getting away. An advanced iridium rod with room for 2 different bobbers would be extremely effective here. Day 22. Today I'll finish earning money. I spent another long, exhausting day fishing at the volcano, smoking up 51 more eels before finally calling it quits, heading down to the island farm to liquidate my eel empire, selling 2 days worth of eels for over 350k gold. That's a lot of money for a new farm still in the first month. Day 23. The run is essentially complete at this point. I just need to spend 500,000 gold to pay off the parrot to get me the rest of the walnuts. I go back to bed at 8 AM, letting the parrots work overnight and fetch me the remaining nuts, bringing me to a total of 69 unused walnuts in my inventory. Nice. Nothing left to do but open the door to the secret walnut room, getting access to Stardew Valley's endgame challenges in a mere 24 days from a fresh save file. Maybe one day I'll do a challenge that doesn't start and end within the first month. I am so sick of fishing. Thanks for watching to the end of the video. If you want to see more videos like this, go check out my other stuff, or go subscribe, or mail me $2,000 alongside a handwritten letter professing your undying love. Cheers.